If you're ever trying to figure out whether this channel is about real stuff or whether it is made by a crazy person, now would be a good moment to make up your mind. I don't think my videos will ever get crazier than this one. Talking to trees is where even the most hardcore psychonauts will draw the line, and I do expect many of you to skip this one or just go WTF. Nonetheless, I did talk to trees. In fact, since a few weeks ago, I can say I do talk to trees. This really is as crazy as it sounds, and don't worry to feel uncomfortable about this video. Had I been told a few years ago that I would be standing in the middle of a night in a field on mushrooms getting words of wisdom from an old tree, I would have had some serious concerns about my future and my sanity. But it did happen, twice so far. It is relevant to my last video warning humans about the imminent danger that we are facing, and that is the reason why I decided to move this video up my list. Although communicating with nature sounds funny, this discussion I had with trees was quite serious. It is a continuation, or actually a prequel, to the message I received about the future of humankind. As always, I would ask you to share this video, but in this case I think we can make an exception. What I do want to ask you is to support this channel through Patreon, PayPal, Subscribestar, or cryptocurrencies. If these videos are having an impact on your life, please help me grow the 434 structure. Links in the video description. Also, I want you to remember the website b434.com in case anything happened to this channel. That's where you will find all the relevant 434 information, videos, and more. I need to make it clear that, like in the case of machine elves, I only get to talk to trees in psychedelic states, and only when they want me to. I don't hear voices or communicate with nature or entities on a daily basis. So let me tell you what happened about 2 years ago. I always stay indoors when I'm tripping, I don't like interacting with humans, and I don't like to see the true nature of the world we live in when I'm in that state. I'd rather stay on my couch in darkness and meditate. That night I heard a calling from a distant voice, and it said that I need to leave the house and that I would be told where to go. This was very unusual and I did not like the idea, but I didn't object. I left the house and I realized that the tree that grows in front of my house asks me to approach it and touch it. It was the same clear telepathic communication with a sense of physical presence I have with all other entities. I touched the bark and it said that I should touch the leaves because that's where its nerve endings are. It said that it feels sad when I walk past it every day and not notice it. I will switch to saying he instead of it because it feels more natural describing that tree. It was a male tree with an interesting positive personality. We had a short conversation and I learned that they have feelings like humans and that he feels lonely and wants me to remember about him by saying hi and touching his leaves every now and then. We said our goodbyes and I continued my journey, allowing the distant voice to lead me. After 10 minutes of walking, I ended up in the middle of an empty field in front of a big old injured tree whose voice it turned out I was led by. It was a very angry tree and it hated humans. It was bitter and a bit aggressive, and I must say it made me anxious. It was an unpleasant experience being in the presence of an old injured tree blaming me for everything that humans do to nature. It told me, look around, I'm here by myself. I don't have any brothers and sisters. You humans plant us like we are objects and not living organisms. We suffer a lonely existence of a prisoner jailed by concrete surfaces with no access to nature or any other trees. Look at the forest. We grow and live together. We have families. This monologue was very disturbing and I kept apologizing for what humans do, but he wouldn't listen. I said sorry one more time and I started walking away. That tree really scared me, but unfortunately it was right. Somebody in the comment section mentioned that they had a similar conversation and that they were told that humans steal their seeds, which are in reality tree babies. After leaving the field, machine elves asked me to go back to the main road in the city where I live, and they said, we will show you now something to make you realize what you do to nature. And then they flipped my sense of perception of the outside world. Instead of me seeing streets and buildings with occasional patches of nature, they show me that it is actually the other way around. That it is nature violated and destroyed by areas of streets and buildings. It showed me that human elements are actually disturbing and intruding on nature, and not as we see it that we surround ourselves with elements of nature. They told me to look at a nearby gas station and they said, look at those robotic inventions of yours. Your machinery inevitably will destroy that which is feeding you, which you depend on. I must say that was a very eye-opening experience and one that changed my perception of our environment. On my way back home, I felt really bad about what I was shown and about the encounter with the angry tree. And again, close to my home, I was spoken to by really big trees, this time females, who told me not to worry about that old tree. They were very understanding and they said that it's not my fault that humans do what they do. They were very empathetic and very loving and understanding. They explained that they are very old, and they told me some stories about the city I lived in, which is very interesting because at that time I'd only lived there for 3 years and I knew nothing about the place. These female trees were very motherly and lovely to talk to. After that, I returned back home and started my regular communication with machine elves. My second contact with trees happened a few days ago. This was right after I received the information about our dimension being potentially destroyed. Again, I was told to leave the house and go to the backyard of the building I was staying in because the trees wanted to decide something that felt related to the messages about humankind. One tree asked me to grab the leaves of a nearby bush with both hands and hold on to them for a moment. I felt it was nodding, making a decision, and that was it. They didn't say anything else. The communication stopped, and whatever they decided was sent somewhere else. If you want to discredit these experiences, you would need to discredit all of my communication with the entities and everything 434 stands for, because it was the same type of communication as with machine elves. Like humans, trees have feelings, personalities, and gender, and they can communicate. The next day I started searching if anybody else has had this experience, and it turned out that there's plenty of people, not even from the psychedelic community, who observe tree communication, even scientifically. In fact, there's a tribe in the Amazon rainforest who knows about this and included this in their native language. There's a book by a biologist, George Haskell, where he describes the information he received from trees about the same cruel jailing of them in the city that I was told about by the old angry tree that night. Another book, The Hidden Life of Trees by Peter Wohlleben, describes the very same issue of trees having families. Again, the same information I received from that old tree. There's even a TED Talk on YouTube called How Trees Talk to Each Other. Remember that I didn't know any of this and that I learned about this researching this online after my experiences. It is normal that you get a sense of unity with nature and psychedelics, and the internet is filled with these reports. I hope that it wasn't the last time I talked to trees. It is a very interesting experience, and I wish I got more information about nature. Again, I would want to ask you to support this channel so that we can all get more insight into the metaphysical world and together share groundbreaking knowledge. This channel is full of interesting videos, so get yourself familiar with the 434 knowledge. My next video will be about sex. Read the video description and join all social media. Remember about b434.com and join my second YouTube channel, Love 434.